If you're functional in every single way and things look great from the outside, but ultimately when you leave work, you drive home, you pull into your garage or your parking space, and you just sit in your car for 20, 30, 45 minutes trying to decompress, be a little less irritable because you know that you love your family, but you're tired, you're exhausted, you've given your day everything that you have, and you don't want to go in the house and bring that energy, well, this one's for you. Welcome to the BASSPORT. I'm going to be your host, Jason C. Bass, where we're going to explore my passion for living abroad, travel, family, and culture. Listen, here's the thing about being a man, not just a black man, but any kind of man, especially if you are of a certain age. Because no matter how hard I try and how much I recognize that this is a thing, I still have some old toxic masculinity kind of things going on with me. And where it relates to this is whenever I was feeling what we are going to call anxiety or just pressure or stress, I didn't want to recognize it. So I would just let it continue to happen. I just thought that this was something that I needed to power through. This is a part of the process. This is what it's like to be an adult and to be responsible and in charge of others, is to deal and feel with that just like wave of pressure. I never really dealt with it. And I realized for a long time, I was probably undiagnosed and untreated for things like burnout. Right? And it sounds like such a weakness sometimes, especially to men that are highly competitive and are really working hard to stay strong and be looked at as the leader. But, I feel like there's a part of vulnerability that really demonstrates strength from a man when they can admit that they're feeling away and they need to get the kind of support or help or just that, we'll correct that, or just take a break, just get a moment to get back to normal. Now, I can admit it now that I was probably dealing with burnout for years, not just months, especially during COVID, post-COVID, and up until recently. But that just wasn't because of rising cost or expenses or anything like that. It was the life that I was living. It was the hustle culture. It was the, wanting to build relationships in and outside of work. So just staying available, anytime my phone rang or email came in, I wanted to be the first one to respond, if it was a group email, or I wanted to respond right away to the person that was reaching out to me, because it always felt like someone was going to judge me by, not getting back to the person within 10 minutes, 15 minutes or something like that, right? They just assumed that no matter what, because they hit you on your mobile device, that you have to have it on you, which means whatever you're doing, it doesn't matter, and you should respond right away. I basically became that guy that when I got home, I just sat in my car, got on my phone, sometimes just listen to music, just whatever, just to decompress. And, I really wasn't dealing with it. Kiyosi, she was doing her best too, right? She was being strong. She wasn't saying anything. She was holding down the house to the best of her ability, working, 5-6 days a week, a ton of hours every single day, and, didn't want to put any extra pressure or weight on me or their household. So, now both of us are just quietly sitting in the corner and being sad, right? And that, what does that do for a relationship? What does that do for me as a parent to my daughter? It does nothing. It doesn't serve us. It just makes us terrible people, and that's something we had to recognize. So what do we do to solve it? We relocated. We picked up everything, sold some things, and I told a little bit about this story in the last video, and we came down to Panama. Now, that doesn't come without stress. Of course that's stressful, but it's the kind of stress that makes it feel like you're doing something that will ultimately make you better, or your family better, your loved ones better, not just leave you like an empty husk that's drained of all of your energy and resources with no hope or no thought of becoming stronger for it. And no matter what they say, because there's all of these corporate people that are like, you got to go through something to become stronger. And there's better ways of saying that. I can't remember the best way to phrase that. But in some aspects, that's true. But then you get to a point, you reach that threshold where the only thing that's happening is, it's like vampiric, right? They're just draining you of everything that you have until you have nothing less left, and then they'll replace you, and that'll be the end, right? There's no legacy left. They thank you, they may give you a severance, they may not, and then they just move on without you. So now living down here in Panama, the pace is much different. And of course they talk about Latin America countries, but specifically about Panama being like tranquilo, or just like, slower, more chill, laid back life. And that's true, but we're still going to go at our own pace. So we're finding that balance, right? Where we're not just constantly grinding, but we're not laid back on the beach either. This isn't a vacation. We live here and we want to exist here and contribute here. And if we can create jobs, as of this moment, we are working back in the U.S. and, we're bringing those dollars here. I don't know how long that'll continue, and I don't want to be completely reliant on that. I want to do something here. We want to do something here and in Panama from a business standpoint. Now, I've also, as an entrepreneur, gotten over the need to feel celebrated and to get all of these awards. I'm just happy with being recognized for my talent, my hard work, and for my reputation. And really, I feel like that's all we all really need at the end of the day. It feels like we need the trophies and the awards, but trust me, when you get that, it really doesn't change much. And in fact, it kind of makes you recognize that the whole journey going towards that it just leaves you feeling a little empty in most cases. Now that we're here and we're, again, finding our own pace, we find ourselves being way more engaged, way more tuned in with each other, way more present when it comes to the family. And that was all through design. It sounds a little easy. It's not easy. It definitely comes with some difficulty. But the point is, you have to be intentional, and you have to recognize when you're not doing great and figure out how to do better, right? Ask people who are doing what you want to do. Do some research, right? Be inspired, and start making some steps in a direction, because even if you're moving slowly, it's still progress. You don't have to just warp from where you are to where you think you need to be. In fact, you may get yourself into a situation by moving too quickly that really doesn't really serve you, right? So take your time, but use some type of strategy as you move forward. Create that design around your life. And look, it's going to be an ongoing journey. You're not going to figure it out right away, but you will get it. And ideally, you're not alone. Don't beat yourself up if it's not perfect or it's not clear. Just keep trying. Just keep going in that direction, because you're not looking at the epitome of perfection on this side. We are continuing to learn every single time we take a step or make a move, and we just adjust. We stay flexible, we stay fluid, and we stay informed. But also, we stay patient with each other. We give ourselves grace. And I'm more in tune with myself and my own feelings than I've ever been. Is my nervous system completely settled? No, it's not. I still find myself sometimes getting irritable when I hear that email ding or something on my phone go off, like a notification. And I just have to recognize that I am not in that space anymore. I don't need to be as programmed as I was, right? Like that dog that I don't even know how to say the scientist's name right now. Well, Pavlovian. Well, the scientist studied that, he could train a dog, ring a bell, dog would salivate, regardless if the food was there or not. So, there's a version of that that's happening with these email and phone notifications. So I know this. I got to deprogram myself. I got to unlearn some things. You will have to do your own version of that as well. There's no prescribed way of doing all of this. If you make a decision similarly to the one that we've made, find a way to not beat yourself up too much. Do it at a pace that best serves you, because you don't want to burn out, just trying to solve for the problem that you currently have. If you're still sitting in the driveway, I hope you feel seen. If you still are taking time before you go in the house just to decompress in whatever form possible, I understand it. And if that's you, please drop a comment, a like, share, let me know how you feel, and ideally, we can keep this kind of conversation going. I'm not just on YouTube, I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok as well, and I'm working on an ebook that'll be out soon. I'll tell you more about it later. But otherwise, thank you for watching this far, and I hope to see you soon. Are you subscribed to the BASSPORT newsletter? If not, make sure you go into the description for this video, hit the link, drop in your email, okay? All right, see you there.